down.
So I would like to discuss a little bit about the logistics for the night. As you'll see in your brochures, there are 8 teams. There will be 5-minute presentations followed by some questions from our awesome judges today. So the first team, it's not always easy to go first, but this team makes it seem like a breeze. They are an awesome duo and have been doing great things. And I'm super excited for you guys to see what they've built. So let's give it up for Team Simplit, Deanna and Jasmine.
Good evening. Good evening, everyone. Awesome, we love you too. My name is Jasmine, and this is my partner Deanna, and we are Simplit. So I have a question for everyone in the audience today. Who here likes to save time? There's got to be more hands than that. Well, talking about time, research can be extremely time consuming. With that being said, what if we can do all the research necessary and still manage to save some time? Well, that's where our application comes in. Simplit not only makes things easier when researching and saving time, but it also keeps things organized, like the resources all in one place. And now my partner Deanna will talk a little bit about the inspiration behind our application.
So I'm sure many of you are familiar with the concept of TLDR. It stems from the online community and it stands for too long, didn't read. And it's a way of telling somebody that their post is far too long, there's no chance we're going to read all of that. Get to the point. What are you really trying to tell us? And this really ties into the ways that globalization and modernization have changed the way that we as people interact with information. We want it fast and we want it now. So this is an example of a TLDR robot that is currently active on the site Reddit. And what it does is it takes news articles and it summarizes them down to 50% of the original content. And we thought to ourselves, what a great tool this could be if only there was a way where we could take this ability to summarize and make it available to anyone for any purpose.
So this here is a picture of what life before Simplit looks like. You have all these great resources, but you don't have the time to read through them all, but you want to be able to utilize them. So let's take Susie's search a lot, for example. Susie's researching on agile methodology, and she actually needs just this long piece of text to be simplified and summarized so she can have a gist of what it's about. So she doesn't need to log in. She just has to go to our homepage, paste that onto our text box, and she's good to go. Once she hits those scissors, she's actually going to be creating a snippet. A snippet is a summary of the original text that she entered into our application. She also has the option to hit the clipboard button, and it copies the text to her clipboard, so she's good to go. So Susie actually realized, well, I have a lot more research to do, and I need to have all my resources together, so she decides to create an account to utilize all of our tools. Once she creates this account, she's able to create projects, and within those projects, she can have snippets of all the resources she's using. This is a great way to keep everything organized, all in one place, and easy to refer back to as well. If you forget what you're researching and you want to go back and check, what was it that I was researching I completely forgot? It's very easy and simple to use.
So I'm sure by this point, many of you are wondering, how does it actually work? Our application was written with Ruby and Ruby on Rails, and we actually utilized a Ruby gem to facilitate the summarization process. For those of you that don't know, a gem is a unit of Ruby code that some benevolent human being has created and put out into the world so that people like us can use it in cool new ways. But that's great, but a gem doesn't just implement itself. You have to make it work for your purposes. And one of the greatest obstacles that we had to overcome was finding a way to get this gem to work for us. There's something in code called special characters, and for us the biggest problem was double quotation marks. Every time our program got to a double quotation mark, it got confused, and it tried to translate it into this other language that would not be comprehensible to a human being. So we actually found a way to use a multi-byte proxy to work around this.
So some future plans for Simplit. One that we really like to highlight is to be able to extract keywords and phrases and topics from the text that the user's actually inputting into our application. So in order to do so, we'd have to implement the Alchemy API. Another feature that we think would be really useful is if you're a college student or a high school student and you're actually doing research for a paper, you can cite as you're doing your research to make things easier. My name is Jasmine, and before Wyncode, I was working in a digital advertising agency, and I'm looking forward to combining my previous skills with my current technical skills to become a junior web developer. Thank you.
My name is Deanna Melin. I have a degree in linguistics, and I'm looking to transition from sales and customer service into a development position. And in particular, I'm very interested in machine learning and natural language processing. Thank you so much for your time. We're very proud of all of our classmates, and you're in for a treat. Have a great evening. Thank you.
Just click the that better? So can you explain a little bit more, a little bit deeper how your algorithm works or what you did to solve the double quote problem?
So for the double quote problem, we tried a couple of different methods, and originally we were thinking that we were going to have to design a loop that could escape all of those, and then on the other end it would have to unescape them. And we were trying that, but I really was convinced that there had to be a simpler, more elegant way to do it. And it turns out that the benevolent creators of Ruby actually made something back way at the beginning of Ruby in one of the first versions, and it's called the multibyte. It's a class of the not active record, it's active, I'm sorry, I don't remember exactly, but
That's fine.
But so basically it's a way to wrap around the unit of text so that it's not trying to change it into Unicode.
Nice. Thanks.
Active's important, that's what
Yes. Okay.
So how much testing did you actually write for your application?
So actually, we wanted to get to testing, but because of the time and the struggles that we had with our current gem, we didn't get to write as many tests as we would like. But it's definitely something we're going to keep working on, and I know that testing is important, and we definitely need to practice it more, so we're definitely going to incorporate it as we keep working on the project.
Could you adapt the current project to other languages?
That was actually one of the inspirations when I originally came up with the idea. Obviously that adds a whole other layer of complication to it. But actually one of my original visions for the application was, besides doing the summarization, I wanted to be able to take academic or archaic English and translate it into basic modern English so that it makes it more accessible not only for students but for people that speak other languages, and then eventually moving on from there, it would be really cool to implement it in other foreign languages as well.